William Morrow and HarperAudio present This Much Is True, a novel by Vivienne Lorret, performed by Faye Adele. For my readers, thank you. As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Chapter 1. Althea Hartley didn't need a miracle. Only the desperate needed a miracle. And she wasn't desperate. Well, not entirely. Regardless, it wasn't as though she were asking for a biblical, survive the next plague sort of miracle. Just a smallish, rainy morning in London sort. Half a miracle, really. Pausing just outside the shop front of her favourite stationer's, she dragged in a stalwart breath that left no room for doubt. This would do the trick. It had to. When her thready exhale collected in a brief, tenuous fog before a biting April breeze carried it away, she refused to acknowledge it. Instead, she reached out and opened the door. A bell jingled overhead as a waft of achingly familiar scents filled her nostrils. The mélange of sweet paper, rich leather, sharp ink, and a hint of pipe tobacco had never failed her. She'd always been able to depend upon the divine fragrance to make her scalp tingle in a frisson of anticipation, the sensation sprinting down her arms and to the tips of her fingers, as if with some ancient calling. The same calling that had inspired the first Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans to chisel away at rock. The need to tell a story. That need ran through her veins, too. It had been with her all her life, at least until recently. Now it seemed that all the words that used to flow as freely as the blood in her veins had dried up, much like her heart. But she wasn't going to think about that. All that mattered was that she'd returned to London for another season, and everything would be different this time. Squaring her shoulders, she took 2 resolute steps into the shop, ready for her miracle. Let the tingling begin. Yet, as the beveled glass door closed behind her and the bell offered a discordant plink, all she felt was a cold plop of rain falling from the brim of her bonnet to the tip of her nose. Then again, it was still morning, and far too early to give up hope. Besides, perhaps the Office of Celestial Intervention had yet to open. After all, who knew if heaven was on London time? Therefore, she was willing to give her miracle a few more minutes. Fife's Feathered Quill was a little shop. Unlike other stationers, Mr. Fife was not a bookseller as well. His speciality, he often said, was paper and ink. Simple as that. The narrow space was flanked by walls of towering walnut shelves filled with an array of boxes of assorted sizes that housed every type of paper, ink, and writing implement imaginable. Along the far wall, which was a mere 7 steps from the door, was a glass display case of tortoiseshell pens, feathered quills with scroll-etched nibs, and embossed silver letter knives. She'd found the cozy shop purely by accident during her first season 2 years ago. One day, after leaving her modiste, she'd taken a wrong turn down a winding alley. Well, several wrong turns, actually. Countess Broadbent, an old family friend who was her sponsor and chaperone, had been quite vexed with her at the time and accused her of having the directional wherewithal of dandelion fluff. Sadly, she wasn't incorrect. Be that as it may, Thea often considered her own tendency to end up not quite in the location she'd set out for as an opportunity for happenstance. As everyone knew, happenstance was the gateway to creativity. That day it had led her here, and she'd hoped one step closer to realizing her dream of writing a play for the London stage. The reminder sent a twinge to the center of her chest. She chose to ignore it, and why shouldn't she? In the past year, she'd become exceptional at ignoring whatever plagued her. Surely taking such pains to spare her family and acquaintances from a veritable
Sample complete. Ready to continue?